Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning and your phone can't find your location. You assume it's a glitch, a minor inconvenience. You try to pull out of your driveway, but the navigation won't load. But then, the lights flicker. The ATM at the corner displays a system error. At the local gas station, the pumps won't authorize your card. Within 4 hours, the high-speed cellular network begins to drop calls. Within 8 hours, the regional power grid starts to desync, plunging entire cities into darkness. Most people think GPS is about maps. They think it's a blue dot on a screen that tells them where the nearest Starbucks is. They are wrong. GPS isn't just a map. It is the invisible heartbeat of the global economy. It is a master clock in the sky that regulates everything from the banking system to the electrical grid. And right now, that heartbeat is more vulnerable than it has ever been in human history. This is the story of Day Zero, the day the satellites go dark. I'm Dennis Lesak, and you're watching Signal and Shadow. Every week, I conduct deep dive investigations into the hidden systems and digital fragilities that keep our world running, and the single points of failure that could bring it all down. Now back to our investigation. To understand why the world would end without GPS, we have to stop thinking about positioning and start thinking about timing. 20,000 kilometers above your head, a constellation of roughly 30 satellites is screaming through the vacuum of space. Each one carries a set of atomic clocks, devices so precise they only lose 1 second every 30 million years. These satellites do one thing: they broadcast a timestamp. When your phone receives signals from 4 of these satellites, it calculates the tiny differences in the time those signals took to arrive. That's how it knows where you are. But the world's most critical infrastructure doesn't care where it is. It only cares what time it is. Take the power grid. To move electricity across thousands of miles without blowing up transformers, the flow of power must be synchronized to the microsecond. If the timing drifts, the phase of the electricity falls out of alignment. The result is a catastrophic hardware failure. Or look at the stock market. High-frequency trading algorithms execute thousands of trades per second. If those trades aren't time-stamped with absolute precision across different servers, the entire financial system becomes a chaotic mess of phantom money. We have built a 21st century civilization on a foundation of free time provided by the US Space Force. And we never built a backup. So, how do we lose it? There are 3 realistic scenarios that keep military planners awake at night. First, the solar superstorm. Every few centuries, the sun lets out a coronal mass ejection, a massive burp of plasma and radiation. In 1859, the Carrington event was so powerful, it set telegraph papers on fire. If a storm of that magnitude hits today, the delicate electronics inside GPS satellites wouldn't just glitch, they would fry. Second, the Kessler syndrome. This is the nightmare of space debris. If a single satellite is destroyed, either by a kinetic missile or a collision, it creates a cloud of shrapnel. That shrapnel hits another satellite, and another. Within 48 hours, low Earth orbit becomes a graveyard of tumbling metal, moving at 17,000 miles per hour. No more satellites. No more signals. Third, electronic warfare. We are already seeing this. In the Baltic region and across the Middle East, GPS jamming and spoofing have become standard tools of war. Spoofing is the most dangerous. It's not just blocking the signal, it's sending a fake signal. It's telling a ship it's in international waters when it's actually drifting into enemy territory. It's telling a power plant that the time is 5 seconds in the past. Let's look at the timeline of Day 0. Hour 1. The blue dot vanishes. Aviation is grounded immediately. Thousands of flights across the globe are forced to land using legacy ground-based radar, causing a logistical bottleneck that freezes global travel. Hour 4. The precision timing begins to drift. Cell towers rely on GPS to sync their handoffs. As the internal clocks in the towers begin to diverge, calls start dropping. Data speeds crawl. The internet remains up, but the mobile gateway to it begins to shatter. Hour 8. Banks realize their transaction logs are no longer synchronized. To prevent trillions of dollars in errors, global clearinghouses hit the kill switch. Credit cards stop working. Digital wallets are useless. We are suddenly in a cash-only economy, but the ATMs won't dispense it. Hour 12. The grid fails. Without the GPS heartbeat, the phase controllers on the electrical grid can no longer maintain stability. Protective relays begin to trip to prevent the wires from melting. Lights go out across major metropolitan areas. In 12 hours, we have gone from a digital utopia to a pre-industrial crisis. The most terrifying part of this isn't the technology, it's the complacency. In the 1990s, we had a backup. It was called LoRaN, long-range navigation. It was a system of massive, ground-based radio towers. It wasn't as accurate as GPS, but it was incredibly hard to jam and impossible to knock out from space. In 2010, the US government shut it down to save money. We threw away the spare tire because we hadn't had a flat in 10 years. China, however, didn't make that mistake. They have been aggressively building out LoRaN, a modern ground-based timing system. They know that in a conflict, the first thing to die is the sky, while the West is dependent on a fragile, transparent signal from 12,000 miles away. China has a terrestrial heartbeat they can control. The GPS system is often called the invisible utility. We take it for granted as much as the air we breathe. But unlike air, GPS is a man-made, fragile miracle. We are currently living in a window of borrowed time. Every day that the sun stays quiet and the debris stays clear is a gift. But Day 0 is coming, and when the heartbeat in the sky stops, we will realize just how much of our world was built on a signal that we never truly owned. If you want to understand the other single points of failure threatening our world, make sure to watch our investigation into the undersea cable nightmare. This is Signal and Shadow. Stay vigilant.